Today we're here with Fred, and I'm very excited about this interview that Fred has agreed to do with us, because Fred has tried just about everything you could imagine as far as living in RVs and traveling with this lifestyle. And I also really like his solar setup. And so what I'd like to cover for the most part in this video is the van to the RV, the reasons behind it, and then I also would like to take a peek at your solar, because I think you have a great solar system that is very interesting and useful, that folks would get something from if we go ahead and show that. So with that, Fred.
I'm on. Okay. About 20 years ago, I had a Class C, and it was okay. I didn't like the idea that if you ever break down, you have to live with your house, basically, when it's in the shop. And I just wasn't that comfortable driving something that big. And then I've also had momentarily for about a week a Class B. I borrowed it and from a friend, and I didn't like it at all. Too cramped. I went to a Class A later on, and again, it was just too big. So after that, after I retired, I had a a fifth wheel, a 38 fifth wheel, and it was so large for me alone that it was just unmanageable, because you need a really big truck to pull something that big. I downsized to a 28-foot trailer, and I sold that and went to a camper on top of a truck, and I really enjoyed that, except for the climbing up in the top there. And then I had a van, and I loved the van. I really did. It was much smaller than this, but I really enjoyed it because everything was when you could touch everything. I didn't enjoy the fact that most of the time I had to cook outside, and I couldn't stand up in it, especially at my age. When you're 25, it doesn't matter. When you're 69, it does matter. So,
can I ask you,
sure.
When you say that the Class A was too big, some people viewing this might think, well, heck, I live in an apartment or a house that's as big or bigger than a Class A. Why would you say that a Class A is too big?
Because it was too much. First of all, I have to keep it clean, which I hate to do. Second of all, it was more than I needed, and what I tended to do 20 years ago was just put things in it, and it became unmanageable. I had so much stuff in there, I couldn't even find the stuff I really needed all the time.
Okay, how about traveling with it? Was it hard to drive, or was it hard to find a parking place or a camping spot?
If you don't really go into the backwoods and stuff, it's not that hard to find a place in BLM. But yes, you actually have like a 35-foot, plus you need 2 or 3 feet in front and behind as well, because you have to maneuver through traffic, through tight spots, through construction zones.
Okay. All right, well, cool. You were saying about living in a van, it's putting your pants on and leaning down.
So many good things, because you only get to carry what you need, because it's such a small area. The good news is it can be very comfortable. You can cook in it. It's always there. You just turn the key, get up and go if you don't like somebody parks next to you, for instance. So you get to get up and go right away. The bad part is, when you get up in the morning, you put on your pants, you have to bend over at the waist. I mean, you have to bend in half, basically. And I just got very, very tired of that. Along with, I like to cook, but there's no counter space in a van. So Cooking outside was great, but there are times you just don't feel like dragging everything out of your refrigerator and dragging it out and dragging it back in. So, and like I say, I'm getting to the point where I know eventually, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, I'm going to need a place to stay permanently that I can put into an RV park, and they'll allow you in.
So that's another consideration. The van, I know we live in a van, and we couldn't go to an RV park unless we said we were going to tent camp. We could probably pull it off for a day or two, and they'd let us in, and we just wouldn't set up a tent. But if you're looking long term, like what you are, there's a beautiful campground that you've got picked out for perhaps later. I've seen it, and they're not going to let you in if you are going to live in a van. They have standards.
They really will not. And So I wanted something a little bigger that had something that would be accepted by an RV park, like a toilet, running water, and so forth. And most RV parks would allow this size in there without any problem at all.
This is a great rig.
And it's easy to pull. So between all of that, this is easy to get around. I don't go on many four-wheel drive paths anymore. So this, for me, now is just perfect.
When you say easy to pull, I know when we met up this just past winter, you were in a Dodge van with a V6. If somebody wanted to get a camper like this, I know you made the transition from that to a vehicle that is strong enough and makes it easy to pull. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and what it costs and how you found it?
Yeah, the van was a V6 and for the most part would not really pull anything more than, say, 1,500 pounds, realistically, going up and down hills. So I got a Yukon Denali, which is basically a 3/4 ton with a big 6-liter engine. And it pulls this trailer, which is dry weight, is about 5,500 pounds.
Okay, now the Yukon, I know brand new, those things are 50 grand. How did you swing something like that financially?
Well, I kept looking for the last probably 4 to 6 months on Craigslist. And I found one in a little town called Pine Top, Arizona. And it was everything they said it was. There was no BS in those small towns trying to buy it. They didn't try to con you. And it was all cash transaction, which I had saved for the last year. And then the trailer came and it was just back to back. And I got this one in Kingman, Arizona.
Would you mind sharing about what you paid for your rig so people have an idea?
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there, and when they say it's in great shape, you got to go look, because I've seen trailers for $2,000 to $3,000 that are just crap. They're beat up, they're dirty, and hasn't been taken care of. I paid $7,000 for this one.
And how about the Yukon? What did you end up paying for that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. The after taxes, because I bought it from a dealer in this case, and it was $4,000 from a dealer.
So you got a 50,000 brand new truck, give or take,
this trailer
for $4,000.
was new, and probably today was probably be about $22,000.
So you got a smoking deal on the trailer too.
It was a good deal on the trailer. I got it for about half of what it, little less than half of what it normally sells for today. This trailer is about $21,000 brand new.
And I know we were talking the other day, I don't know if it's going to really translate on the camera, but the upholstery on this is very firm. There's no stains. There's no inadvertent smells. This is like a brand new rig that somebody bought, and it just sat in storage for the most part is what it looks like.
According to the guy I bought it from, he bought it from a guy who had used it for 4 years, maybe 5, 6, 7 times a year during the summer. He and his wife only used it probably, he said, 3 to 4 times. So I have less than 30 uses in, let's just say, in 8 to 10 years. So everything is absolutely, it was spick and span.
What do you like most about having a pull-behind trailer over, say, a Class C that's the same size or a van? What do you like most?
What I like most of all, first, it's got room for everything without having to squeeze it, and I can stand up in it. Completely stand up.
Okay, but opposed to getting a Class C that has a lot of room,
right?
Why do you like a trailer?
Because a Class C, if you remember, has the bed on top of the cab of the truck.
Right.
And climbing up there is not difficult, but at night, and you're groggy, coming down to go to the bathroom, for instance, it's a chore that I didn't want anymore.
I know that we had talked a little bit about the flexibility of being able to drop a trailer at its location and have the car, whereas with a Class C you'd need a different vehicle to go run errands, or if something happened with the mechanically with the Class C, all of a sudden your home is behind a fence at the mechanics lot, whereas this, it doesn't have an engine, which means the registration on it's much lower, and if you do have mechanical problems with your pull machine, you can take it separately and you haven't lost your home in the process.
That's true, as well as I can leave it out in the woods here, and my Yukon is big enough that if I just throw a mattress and a heater and a stove in there, I can take off for 2 or 3 days and no problem. I come back and take a side trip that I couldn't pull the trailer on, but the Yukon will go on. That's a real big, to me, it's a real big advantage.
I think so too. And for folks watching this that might be wondering how you get power to keep your your perishable foods refrigerated and run, it looks like you've got a laptop and a printer here. How do you power all that out here where there's no power hookups?
Well, I did it a little differently. I had a solar, I have a complete separate solar system other than the one that came with this trailer. They have two 6-volt batteries for the trailer here, which runs basically the fan for the heater, the interior lights, the spark for the fan on the refrigerator, and everything else I have put in through a separate solar system, completely separate.
Can we see the battery bank?
Oh, sure. The battery bank for the
one that you put in.
The one that I put in is underneath the right here, and I guess get it out of your way.
Sorry to be asking you to take this all apart.
No, it's really all right. All I do is pull up the cushions, and what I've done is just this is normally the storage area, and what I've done is just brought the power in from the solar panels, which you'll see in a minute, and these are two 12-volt batteries, AGM batteries. My inverter is down here, and it's wired in over here underneath to the controller, and the wires for that come from the outside where the solar panels charge up the batteries.
Okay, so we'll just breeze through this. You've got two absorbed glass mat batteries, which means they do not outgas, so it's safe to put them inside the rig.
That's correct.
You've got a 1,000-watt pure sine wave inverter, and you've got a MPPT solar controller that converts all that sun power into usable
electrical
amperage
energy.
and voltage.
And I power the refrigerator directly from the inverter and from the batteries themselves, whichever I choose to use.
And this is the second winter that we've seen in these videos. What do you think about this unit?
I like that particular unit. It's the 40. They have 3 of them. I believe that one's a 30 quart, 45, and 63. And I find this one is working perfectly.
What size is it?
It's the 43. It's the middle size. I'll probably eventually someday get the larger one just to be able to do it. But the refrigerators that come in these units normally, just to me, don't hold enough fresh food.
Okay, well, you know, you mentioned getting another one. If you get another one, you could set one of them, because these don't have a refrigerator freezer. They just have a temperature you set, and it maintains that temperature, so you could use it for either or.
Either or, that's correct.
And so if you did get another one, you could use one of them as a freezer and one as a fridge then.
That's absolutely correct. That's very correct. If you want to look for the rest, there's got, for a single guy, for me, they have tons of storage.
Okay, let's take a quick tour.
Okay. Well, here's the, this is a bunk for a very, very light child, basically, and I use it for my clothes.
Absolutely.
And some storage. There's just virtually nothing, and they also have clothes hangers up there.
Okay.
This is the bed, and it's simply an REI mattress, which is very comfortable, and it sits on top of here.
Okay.
And that's basically it. And then inside, you have a fan, just like that, and a big enough shower so you're not bumping the walls, and you can take a nice shower.
Let me just take a quick look in
Sure.
here. Yeah, this is a nice sized bathroom.
What's really nice is
the sink is
separate, and it has storage underneath.
Wow, this is great. And you've got an oven in this unit, so you can bake if you wanted to bake a pizza or something like that.
Plenty big enough refrigerator, but with that refrigerator, it's plenty that for just myself. And of course, there's cupboards up here. What I really like about it, there are so many small trailers where the air conditioner hangs down. This one is ducted through the top, so you get another 6 inches where you're not banging your head on this.
Okay. Now, I just want to cover really briefly, this refrigerator, is it a 2-phase or a 3-phase?
This one is a 2-phase. It works on 120 and 12 volts.
It doesn't work on propane?
Propane, I'm sorry, yes. It doesn't work on 12 volts, it works on propane and 120. So if I go to an RV park, I can turn it on.
Okay, so I know that some people are probably looking at this and saying, well, heck, you got a refrigerator built in. Why did you go out and get the winter? The bottom line is these refrigerators that they typically put in either a camper or a Class A, B, or C, they run on propane instead of
12 volts.
Instead of 12 volts, which means that's fine, but you're looking at about a 20-pound tank of propane about every 3 weeks, which can add up. With this, you plug it in, you got your solar set up, and you forget about it.
And I had this, and it cost $600, and I wasn't about to just throw it away. So between that and this, I have 12, now I have 120 and propane. So yeah, it worked out really well.
Cool. Let's take a look at your solar system. I really like what you have. It's a lot more flexible than ours on the roof. With ours, we have to park out in the sun, and so the van's always out in the sun, even in the heat.
Right.
But what you have, as you can see this yellow cord here,
right,
is you've been able to move the panels away from the vehicle so you can park in the shade and also angle the panels to get a little bit better sun. So tell me about your solar setup.
Okay, well, the solar is 4 100-watt panels.
Let me get over here so I can block the wind.
They're connected in series, which means basically that you have negative to positive, and so forth. And I get 400 watts supplying my solar. What's really nice about these, I've attached hinges in here between them, and I can take them. If you stand back a little, you'll see. I put these on, so all I have to do with these to move them, well, you would if I could do it right. It's supposed to go underneath. Okay. Basically, you pick them up like this, and I can fold them like this when I put them in the Yukon.
Okay, let me get a shot of the hinges. So you installed the hinges yourself?
Yes.
And you're propping the panels up with just some, conduit, what is that, half-inch electrical?
Half-inch conduit that you just drill a hole into this and this. And so when you open it up, all you have to do is just hold it like so, and I do 2 at a time.
Okay.
A lot of people wouldn't want to do that, they do one, so you just basically use these and use these as props to hold them up, and you can see they're real steady. These are not going to blow away.
They're not going to blow down in a good wind.
Nope. And what I also did is if I put regular old window weather stripping on the back of them. So in the winter, when you need almost straight up, I can lean them against this and don't have to worry about those.
Okay, how many watts are these solar panels?
These are each 100 watts. So there's 400 watts, and all the wires come together into this, and this is just a regular heavy-duty construction plug that you put here, runs into the house. It's a 50-footer. So I can have these away from the house, and I can put this under the sun and that out of the sun.
That looks like about a 12-gauge extension cord, would you say?
Yes.
It's important to have a thick one. It's going to cost more, but if you get a thin one, it's not going to work right, so you got to spend more.
Walmart, when I bought it, was $54 for 50 feet.
So almost a buck a foot.
Yeah, but it doesn't drop a lot of volts.
Okay, so if you get a thinner one, it's going to drop volts A, and then B, if you have a 400-watt array of solar panels, you need an MPPT controller that can handle at least 400 watts, and that's important because not all of them can.
Nope, not all, and I would definitely always recommend MPPT because of how well it handles the solar voltage as opposed to a pulse PWM one. And all it is just all connected together, and they're real easy to pull apart. I just have it set, so all I have to do is just pull it apart, no problem. They fold up, and I put it on a blanket and back, put the top on, put another blanket on top, and they sit on top, and they travel real easy. Most people would probably only want to do one panel at a time, which is perfectly okay.
Let's go back in case the wind is messing with my mic, because I want to ask you some more questions. So here's the rig that you got.
Yes.
Off of Craigslist?
Off of Craigslist, as it works out. And the trick out of this whole thing, though, is not to be in a hurry. Because this and this took about 7 months before I finally decided to bite the bullet, so to speak.
Okay.
You might find it right away, but be prepared to not settle for just okay if you don't have to.
I know that you had mentioned the company that you'd gone through on your solar panels, you were really happy with them. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, very, very, very happy with a company called Renogy.com. And their customer service is excellent. Not even good, it's excellent.
Well, good. And let's see, what else can we cover?
Well, I've had to return 2 panels, and they ship it out. You put the old bad one in a box and ship it back with a return label. They pay for all the shipping. But their customer service is just excellent.
Outstanding. Now, you'd mentioned when we spoke before about a van that you are selling in Pahrump. If that van, if anybody wanted to start off with a van, can you tell us a little bit about how it's set up and how to...
Well, you can, first of all, you can go to Craigslist and look in Las Vegas under Dodge van, and my blue Dodge 96 van will be there. But it has a 6-cylinder engine. It includes a Thule rack for the very top. If you have a rack or you want to put a solar up on top, it includes an external tire carrier, which is a big advantage because the spare tire doesn't take up room inside. And best of all, it has the bed made. In other words, the wooden framework for the bed, all you do is throw a mattress on top, you've got a bed.
So for those
and it has a computer table in there.
Okay, so for those that aren't really interested in building out the inside of the van, you've already done the basics for them.
That is correct. And I also, on the other side of the interior, there's a board that goes across the wheel well that you can stack up the storage containers that you see on the ad.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put a link to the ad, and do you want to put any contact information for you if somebody can't find it? And see, I can always take the contact information out once it sells. So do you want to put a phone number in if anybody's watching this?
You can put my phone number or my email. I don't care.
Okay, so I'll put those in the notes. If
you have them both, right?
I'll check and see on the phone number.
You have my email, but here I can put it out. My name. Well,
let's leave it for the notes. That way, when it sells, we can just take it out.
That's a good idea. Okay.
All right. So what else? So we got the van going. How long have you been living this way?
I'd have to say off and on for 20 years, but solid straight for the last 8.
We met in Shaver Lake in 2012.
Yeah, but I've been doing that since I've been retired in 2007. So I've been doing it about 8 years, full-time every day, no matter what. Before that, I used to live in a trailer and so forth, and I'd go back and forth to work or stuff like that.
Well, now, you say you used to live in a trailer. You didn't always live in a trailer. At one point...
I've lived in apartments before. Yeah.
When you had your cab business?
Oh, that was, my goodness, that's...
Well, you've got
that dates me, that's like 35 years ago.
You've got a big story, though. You've been around a long time, and so you've had a wide range of experiences. Mm-hmm. You've had a cab business. You want to talk a little bit about your card dealing?
Oh, I used to be a professional poker player and did that for 8 years, and literally I got burned out. No, I didn't lose all my money, but I just got burned out. I traveled a lot. It was a lot of fun. It's a tough way to make an easy living, so to speak, in every sense of the word. But after a while, I just got burned out on it, so I went back to what they call the corporate world, and for the last 7 years I worked, then I retired.
For some people that might be watching this that think that the option of living this way might be for those that can't really do much better than this, I want to mention, I know you probably wouldn't bring it up, but I want to mention that you at one point were a Mensa member. So if you wanted to, you've got the wherewithal.
Well, I passed the test. I didn't join. I went to 2 of their meetings and I didn't join. So, do
you want to talk about why you didn't join?
Not really, because I don't like to say disparaging things. The way I look at it, I wasn't comfortable, and that's as bad as I'm going to say.
So it just wasn't for you.
It was like anything. You try it, you see, you experiment with it, and it just wasn't my cup of tea.
You've got the intellectual wherewithal to be in any situation that you'd like, but you've chosen this lifestyle.
I have. Oh, absolutely. I was not forced into doing what I'm doing now, as many people are, whether they lose their job or they get divorced or whatever. Many people, at least for a little while, are forced into doing this, And I wouldn't want to be forced, but fortunately I didn't have to do that. There are some people who do, and that's really an unfortunate situation, especially in today's world.
What would you say to someone that is watching this and thinking about making the leap from what we call sticks and bricks to this mobile lifestyle? And they might not be sure if it's, you know, for them. They might be insecure about leaving a sticks and bricks home. They might feel like if they start off in this lifestyle, they're going to get shuffled along by the authorities everywhere they go.
That's certainly possible, but the first thing I would do is just minimalize your life as far as things, whether it's a water bottle or a computer, this or that. Figure what you absolutely positively must have to live, and everything else, make a decision of, well, I really haven't used that for a year, throw it away. A lot of people have tons of clothes, for instance, or tons of CDs, or whatever the case might be. Take the 5 or 10 things you like best and get rid of the rest.
I know for me it was a living room set that was very expensive, and I really liked it and had a hard time parting with it. I had a bedroom set I didn't want to part with. I had outdoor patio furniture that I thought was awesome, had lawnmower.
All that stuff. Well, first of all, you got to look at them as, first of all, things that hold you back from doing what you want to do. So the first thing I would do is rent. For instance, I would go to one of these rental places and rent for 3 days for 2 or 3 months to see if you like the lifestyle, see if you like a Class C or a Class A, and rent it for 3 days on a mini vacation, just to see how much room you have or don't have. If you like taking a shower in an enclosed space, really close, see if you like it. And if you do, then go to the next step. Start getting rid of your stuff. Because I had a storeroom for about 4 years, just paying $30 a month. Well, over 4 years, that's like $1,200-1,300 that you don't have now. And when I finally did it, I just walked away from it, gave it to the manager. And I haven't missed any of it, because the way it turned out is over half of it I didn't even remember I had, but yet I was storing it. That's just not real smart.
Any last words?
Nope. Glad to help you out.
Thank you very much for taking time. I know that I've learned a lot from knowing you, and I hope that others watching this can glean something from it as well. Thanks a lot.
You bet.